It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Today is the final day. Most of the dealerships are probably almost closed, but if you were really just on the edge of deciding if you wanted to buy an electric car, that $7,500 tax credit from the federal government expires at the end of the day. And apparently there's been a rush on them lately. A whole bunch of people who have decided at the last minute, okay, they're going all in. They want that $7,500. They want that electric car. For more, here's a report from ABC7 in the Bay.
The sun will soon set on a couple of key incentives that got more people driving electric vehicles.
It'll probably slow it down a bit, but...
By the way, I should mention, just in full disclosure, while I am the owner of an electric car, which is actually my second electric car, I never got any of these tax credits because the first electric car that I bought was used, and then that one got totaled in an accident. And then when I went to buy this car, there currently was no tax program for it. The existing program said too many Chevys have been sold, so Chevy doesn't qualify. But Chevy, to compete with the other manufacturers that were getting the tax credit, offered their own rebate. So I still got a little bit of the price off of the car, but it wasn't a tax credit.
But I anticipate there will still be a good percentage of sales, is what I expect.
The end of September marking the end of the $7,500 tax credit on EV purchases.
The EV tax credit that we're looking at that's going to expire has been heavily utilized. And if you look at it from an adoption point of view...
Apparently dealerships the last couple of weeks have been packed with everyone who was kind of thinking about getting one, realizing now's the time.
Utilizing leasing and using that workaround is key.
In July, EV sales jumped after Trump's budget bill passed, eliminating the tax credit. Chevrolet's EVs surged 100%. Volkswagen saw gains of 127%. Sales of Porsche's fully electric models jumped 174%.
Okay. Just hear me out on this. But I would argue the people who can afford the Porsche EV didn't need the tax credit. The Chevy one, sure, definitely helps out with that price. The Volkswagen one, yes, they've got some moderately priced electric cars and they are coming down. What do you think? Okay, let's just look this up. What is the MSRP for the Porsche EV? The starting price for the Porsche Macan Electric can be from $78,000 to maybe about $100,000. The 2025 Porsche Taycan starts at $101,000 and goes up to $231,000. So I don't know if we needed to have the tax credit for that one.
Sales of Porsche's fully electric models jumped 174%, and Audi EV sales were up 252%.
Same thing you could say with Audi.
August EV sales were up overall too, and September is also looking like a solid month.
It's basically pulling demand forward because everyone's taking advantage.
EV drivers have also been taking advantage of access to the HOV lane, another incentive set to expire. Starting October 1st, drivers with clean air vehicle tags will no longer be able to drive solo in the HOV lane.
Full disclosure, I have owned an electric car. I've owned this car for 3 years, and I had a different electric car for about 6 months before that. I have never, ever applied for one of those stickers. I'll tell you why in a bit.
Although CHP is giving a 60-day grace period before starting to ticket.
I think it's a huge bonus to saving 30 minutes in traffic, or even 30 to 45 minutes, depending on which freeway. So I think we're going to see a big impact.
Zachary McKellips occasionally drives an EV for work and has considered buying one himself.
I considered it at one point in time. But if I'm not getting a kickback and I can't go in the HOV lane, I really don't want one.
I like that he called it a kickback.
And the experts say if there's any silver...
And by the way, we're coming to a point where, at least internationally, the competition is making these things much more affordable. Of course, the cheapest one won't ever be sold here because it comes from China, but I think you can get it for like $9,000.
And the experts say if there's any silver lining to these incentives being taken away, it's going to force policymakers and companies to get more creative.
I would tell everybody, stay tuned, because there's other policies and regulations and incentives that are going to crop up.
Tara Campbell, ABC 7 News.
I mean, the dealerships and the manufacturers are going to still have to sell this stock. So if the tax credit's not going to be a thing anymore, they'll do what they did with my car and there'll be rebates. But let's get to the other thing that is expiring at the end of today. No more electric cars, no more zero-emission vehicles, whether you have the fuel cell or the EV or the hybrid, doesn't matter. No more single-passenger special cars in the carpool lane. That ends today. There will be a grace period, but after that, theoretically, you could be fined. Although, just as an interesting thought experiment, as I was sitting on the dreaded 405 today and not moving at all, I just happened to glance at the carpool lane that was also not moving and noticed quite a few people in that lane that did not have more than one passenger, unless something was going on that I couldn't see above the window, and weren't electric cars. I don't think that stuff gets enforced nearly as much as it used to. I almost never see CHP on the highway anymore. They're too busy dealing with retail theft. Let's go listen to this piece on the EV sticker going away. Here's CBS 8 in San Diego.
A huge benefit for EV owners across California ends in just a few days, but drivers are going to get a break before CHP officers start cracking down. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price. The Clean Air Vehicle Decal Program, which lets certain drivers use the carpool lane solo, is set to expire at midnight on September 30th. But as CBS 8's Esmeralda...
You better get some driving in now.
The California Highway Patrol is going to implement a brief grace period to allow drivers to catch up on this change before they begin enforcement.
If you drive solo in the carpool lane with a decal on your electric vehicle, well, that perk is about to end. But don't worry, that's why the CHP is giving drivers some time to adjust. Beginning October 1st, these decals will no longer allow solo EV drivers to cruise through the HOV carpool lanes.
When I bought my first electric car in September of 2021, that tiny little death trap known as a Volkswagen e-Golf. I say death trap because they're so low to the ground that a minor fender bender completely destroyed the battery. And it was at that point my wife said, no more small cars for you. And then the current car that I own that I do love, even though as I hate driving, I do love this car, my Chevy Bolt EUV. I never, ever once considered getting that sticker. Why? Because I drive the 405 freeway every single day. I hate it. I've complained about it on this radio show many, many times. Sometimes that's my therapy. Because screaming out into nothingness while I'm sitting on the freeway is bad for my voice. So sometimes I have to do it here. But in the 10 hours a week I spend on that freeway, which just thinking about that added up is the saddest thing I've ever said out loud, that I spend 10 hours of my week on that bleeping freeway, I have never, ever seen the 4 regular lanes stopped while the carpool lane is moving. I've just never seen it. If the whole freeway is moving, the whole freeway is moving. But I've never, ever, ever seen it where there's any advantage to getting over to that carpool lane. So I said, screw it. Why am I getting the sticker? It's not going to save me any time.
According to the California Department of Motor Vehicles website, the federal government is ending the program. They note that while the federal government gives the DMV the authority to run it, the state has to follow federal rules, and those rules are set to expire. I spoke with Keith Mikas.
This is more of a Congress couldn't renew it because Congress can't agree on anything, but we don't talk about federal stuff here. That would just make you want to rip your head out.
I spoke with Keith Mikas, who's been driving electric for about 15 years. He's the past president of the San Diego Electric Vehicle Association. Although he doesn't have a decal on his car now, he's enjoyed this perk before.
I think for certain individuals, it was a great perk. I used to work in Hillcrest, lived in North County, so it was an excellent program for me. It would force me to buy a new EV to use the carpool lanes and save on traffic.
There is a brief...
That doesn't seem like the greatest idea. Let me spend another 30 grand on a car just so I can get in the carpool lane.
There is a brief grace period starting September 30th. The California Highway Patrol is giving EV drivers 60 days to adjust.
And really the focus is more so to educate motorists that, hey, these changes happened, rather than just going out and enforcing October 1st.
Because they're assuming that the average Californian doesn't pay attention to the news, which is fair. The news can be depressing. Not everyone does it with a little fun the way we do it over here.
With that grace period in place, the goal is to get the word out and clear up confusion. There are some HOV lanes and fast track lanes, and some HOV lanes are fast track as well. That means if you're driving alone, you could use those lanes only if fast track is allowed and you have a valid transmitter box or sticker.
I'm confused too.
But if it's a regular HOV lane, you'll need to follow the signs. Most of those require at least 2 people in the vehicle.
For the most part, it's going to be an education campaign. Now, there is still officer discretion, meaning like, hey, I pulled you over last week for the same thing, and I've already told you multiple times that this change is happening.
What if, and we have seen this happen, you pull someone over and they've got a mannequin, and they're trying to reenact that classic 1986 movie? Will that count?
Then you may face a ticket.
And remember, once this program ends, pay close attention to the carpool lane rules to avoid getting a citation. Esmeralda Perez, CBS 8.
So the stickers are going away. Does this mean that there's going to be a whole bunch more traffic on the regular lanes and the carpool lane will be a lot freer? I don't know. Who knows how well this is enforced? I think there's plenty of people out there that use the carpool lane regardless. But I'm here to tell you that there's a different way, and maybe we've been overthinking all of this nonsense, because what was the original purpose of the carpool lane? It was this idea that does not work in Southern California, that you and your coworker live in the same neighborhood, and maybe instead of taking 2 cars to the office, you'll take 1. Because who lives in the same neighborhood as most of their coworkers? Almost nobody. Those park and ride lots, who's actually using them? Not a whole lot of people. So it's like people are using that lane if they're taking their kids to school or they're, who knows? I have been very intrigued by the fact that a different state in this union has taken a different path on this issue, because I happen to believe that carpool lanes do not improve traffic speed. And my evidence for that is Carmageddon. They shut down the 405 for a weekend. It was an incredible thing. They added lanes to the freeway, but what did they add? They added carpool lanes. Cost $1 billion. And traffic did not get any better. Traffic did not improve. And I don't think traffic improved even for the carpool people. And just based on how driver behavior is when you are in the left lane or the lane closest to the carpool lane, you just see so much bobbing and weaving and going in and going out and, oh, I've got to get out and now I've got to really rush over to these things because you can only get out of that lane at certain parts. I think the mere existence of the carpool lane slows down traffic for everybody. And I do not care for the idea of, oh, we're going to make traffic a little better for these people. I don't care if it's because you have an electric car or you're driving a whole van full of kids. I don't think that's equitable. I think the traffic should be the same speed for everybody. I also don't love the idea of the fast track lanes. Sure, you have to pay for those, but when you pave over existing lanes, it's almost like you are screwing over everybody to make a buck. Not a fan of that as well. Private toll roads or tollways like they have in other states, yeah, that's fine. They didn't take away existing lanes. But look what's going on in Florida right now. Florida is banning all carpool lanes. It's something their legislature passed earlier this year. Here's a report from WBPF in Florida.
New at 6, you will still see these signs out on I-95, but starting today, they're no longer enforceable. A new state law is ending the HOV lanes in Florida, meaning anybody can drive in these lanes.
By the way, I consider myself a fairly educated person. I don't know what HOV means, and I don't care to look it up.
At any time. The law ends a benefit for drivers of electric vehicles, but it also ends the perk for vehicles with more than one passenger. Traffic anchor.
So in Florida, the EV program for that sticker expired, and the idea was, okay, let's just get rid of the whole carpool lane to begin with. Everybody can use every lane.
Traffic anchor Yasmin Julmis explains the change and what drivers are saying about it.
Effective today, HOV lanes in Florida are no longer. Governor Ron DeSantis signed Senate Bill 1662 last month, which covers a range of transportation changes, and the repealing of carpool lanes being one of them. While you may still see the signs up, the rules and what some may call perks no longer apply. More than 25,000 Florida drivers of hybrid and other low-emission vehicles who were allowed to use HOV lanes with a special decal, regardless of the number of people in the car, will no longer benefit.
Wait, that's all they had? Doesn't Florida have like 30 million people?
Most people we spoke to in our area were hearing about the change for the first time today.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. That's really exciting news for me because I travel most of the time in highway, especially south.
I think it was better when you needed 2 people or more on that lane.
I think sometimes the HOV lanes are a little confusing with the signage, and people don't totally obey them anyway. I like having...
There is that, and that's definitely something that we've seen in California, especially since 2020. I don't see a whole lot of enforcement on the freeway anymore. I didn't see a whole lot before, but I definitely don't see a whole lot now.
Anyway, I like having the express lanes that are designated and that you pay for with your Sun Pass.
Palm Beach County Tax Collector Ann Gannon issued a press release saying, in part, we are complying with this recent change to the law and have ceased issuing HOV decals.
So here's what I'd love to hear from you, because you drive these hellish freeways every single day. You have to deal with this experience. Now that the EV sticker program is ending, and a lot of those electric cars are going back into the regular lanes of traffic, do you want to see carpool lanes continue in the state of California? Do you support keeping the HOV lanes on our freeways, or should we do what Florida's doing and get rid of it entirely? Do you still want to see carpool lanes on your freeways? Give me a call. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Do you support continuing to have carpool lanes on California freeways, or would you like to see this state follow in Florida's footsteps and get rid of carpool lanes? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Give me your honest, true feelings, how you feel about carpool lanes. Should we get rid of them? That's what Florida's doing. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Get on the line right now. Tell me how you feel about this. I'm sure you're stuck in traffic right now, looking left at that lane that's not moving any faster than you. Tell me how you feel about this. Should California do away with carpool lanes? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Tomorrow, electric cars with those special stickers will no longer be allowed to use the carpool lane. My question to you at 800-222-KABC is, do you support keeping carpool lanes altogether in California, or should we do what Florida just did and eliminate carpool lanes? Anybody can drive in any lane in Florida. What say you? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay there. We're getting right to your calls next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, and your emails at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. We're taking your calls right now. The EV stickers for the carpool lane expire tomorrow. Federal government did not renew the program, so there will be a grace period. But if you have an electric car and you get a sticker, no carpool lane for you. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Florida voted to end all carpool lanes. You could drive in any lane, anytime. Do you want to see carpool lanes continue in California, or do you want to see California follow Florida and get rid of carpool lanes? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with John in Claremont. John, hello.
Hey, hello, Randy. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. I don't think it would work here because Florida doesn't have the traffic we do in California. The carpool lane is good. My question to the girl was, why do we pay for fast track on the 10 freeway and the 15 anywhere from $4 to $5 when those fast track lanes were originally carpool lanes, and now we got to pay above and beyond what we get charged for using the carpool lane? Those lanes were built with taxpayer dollars.
No, you're totally right about that. And instead of constructing additional freeways or tollways like other states have done, because we don't want to do that, we're taking away existing lanes that were paid for and then charging you double for them, which is making the traffic worse in all the other lanes. But people are so tortured by the traffic here, they'll put up with it. I think it's unacceptable.
Yeah. On the eastbound 10 freeway by Ontario, they finished the freeway. Finished it. 3 months later, they're tearing it down again because now they're making it wider. You didn't know that ahead of time? To me, it looks like all of this is payback to the unions because, remember, the union worker gets paid a government rate, which is almost double to triple the normal rate. To me, I see it because I travel it every day. It's a ripoff. This fast track, everywhere you look at, you're being charged extra and extra with no accountability.
Well, and you could definitely make the argument, John, you could definitely make the argument that one of the reasons these Caltrans projects seems to take forever and ever and ever and quite possibly never end is because those union contracts will just continue to get extended. And it doesn't matter if you have an overage on a government-funded project, you're going to get paid.
Yeah. It's funny to see these workers, one worker carrying a 2x4 by himself. It's like a joke.
Thanks so much for the call, John. Appreciate it. Look at what's going on with this project on the 405, where they're finally repaving some lanes in the Sepulveda Pass. The project will be done over the next year and a half as they close down 3 lanes of the freeway every other weekend. There has to be a more efficient way to do that. You look at some of these widening projects where it has taken 10 years to work on this little patch of the 101 freeway. in between Ventura and Santa Barbara? Like, is that ever going to get done? And when it gets done, are they then going to close down lanes for something else? It's like LAX, perpetually under construction. Let's go to Jim in Northridge. Jim, hello.
Yeah, hey, Randy, thanks for the call. Yeah, I got one for you. I'm from Northridge in the Valley, and I used to commute to UCLA every day in the morning, and I was able to hook up with their HOV program. It's the big, long vans, and we'd get between 7 and 10, 11 people in those things, and we could go from Nordhoff and the 405 to Gailey in less than 20 minutes if nobody jumped in and out in front of you. But nowadays, I see gardeners with trailers and everything else in there. And, those big vans were a great idea, but now I see more homeless people in them. And I just think that, it was too good to be true. And Caltrans knew it. And it's just a shame. That was in the early 2000s. And I pity you every time you have to go over that 405 because, like I say, if no one jumped in and out of you, you could get all the way over the hill in 20 minutes or less. Thank you.
Oh, you're so right. Thanks so much for the call, Jim. And in fact, people weave in and out of those lanes more than the other lanes in my experience. And you've got, as I've always experienced, the further left you go on a freeway, the more impatient the people are. And that's where trouble comes out. But yeah, if the government wanted to lead and they wanted to encourage you to van pool with the people in your office, why aren't they doing it? Just like I'll always advocate, if they really want everyone taking public transit, then shouldn't it be mandated that every member of City Hall should have to take public transit to there every single day? You could close down the entire parking garage to City Hall East and turn it into a homeless shelter. Let's go to Shane in Moreno Valley. Shane, hello.
Hey, how you doing, man? Yeah, so I was entertaining myself while I was driving down the freeway here and while I was waiting to come on the call. And I've counted over 40 people driving down the HOV lane right now with one person in the car. So it's full of cheaters, man, every single day, especially in rush hour traffic. I say get rid of the lane, stop trying to fine people $500 for it, for driving in there.
No, I don't think we get much enforcement at all. I think ever since 2020, there's a lack of enforcement in all different kinds of things, but especially traffic and especially freeway traffic. It's why CHP has been diverted to retail theft. I don't think this stuff gets enforced much at all. And you see so many cheaters in there, and there's so much cheating going on when it comes to all kinds of traffic on the freeway, that what's the point of having it if it's not going to be enforced? And that's why it's as busy as all the other lanes.
Oh, yeah. I was talking with guys a while ago about the fast track lanes, too. And, when you're driving down the freeway and you see all those pylons or the pieces of plastic that are sticking up in the middle of the freeway that are all missing, you got to know people are running those things over to get in and out of that lane without paying for it. So I bet you that's happening all the time.
Oh, I bet you it is. That is how drivers here are. We live and drive with the worst drivers in the country. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. And I have driven in other states. It's definitely the worst here. Let's go to Jimmy in Burbank. Jimmy, hello.
Hey, kind of piggybacking, on that, the whole weaving in and out. Some people wait to that last second and realize there isn't an exit point, and then they shoot across 4 lanes, and it's just psychotic with no regard to anybody around them. So I'm okay with getting rid of them and giving it a shot because there's a lot of wasted real estate out there where lanes split off from the rest of the freeway. Just let us get in there and keep the traffic moving, and maybe it will help down the road. I mean, it's a crapshoot, and I guess there's no going back, but I think it's worth a shot to get rid of them.
Well, and the less opportunities you have for all the bobbing and weaving, that's what slows down so much of this traffic is people constantly changing lanes because they're impatient.
Yeah, oh yeah. I have a funny thing about enforcement. I saw a car go across 4 lanes from the 5 over to the 210, and it was standing out. It was a massive Cyber truck. Almost hit a cop on a bike, but they're probably going somewhere else to CHP. So I don't know if you've seen it on the roads. Anybody listen? They'll just give you a thumbs down, like that wasn't good. But then the cop kept going up to 5, and the Cybertruck went up to 210, and I'm like, so that wasn't even a slap on the wrist. It was just acknowledged with a thumbs down, and I was like, what? Go get him! He almost ran you over. Yeah, it was pretty wild. That moment. It was like last week. I was like, oh crap! And then they just went on their merry way, and I was like, no, pull over.
I have seen situations like that constantly. Thanks so much for the call, Jimmy. Appreciate it. I really think there is a huge lack of enforcement out there. I mean, maybe you get pulled over by the CHP if they run your plates and you've got an active warrant. But for, the horrible behavior of your average California driver, cutting people off, not signaling when you change lanes, using the carpool lane when you're not supposed to, you just don't see that. Especially since COVID. You really don't see a whole lot of enforcement. Let's go to Freedom in Simi Valley. Freedom, hello.
Hello, yes, thank you for taking my call. Actually, I'm trying to park right now. But, everybody said what I was going to say. So I think that it's waste of taxpayers' money, a waste of time. A lot of people are just going in there, just one person in there, and I really don't blame them. And it's horrible. I used to have an office. I'm a doctor. I used to see patients in in Beverly Hills. And when the 405 was closed down, I got in late to see one of my patients. I was an hour late. I was so embarrassed. It got to the point where I said, you know what? Forget it. I don't even want to drive this way anymore. And it's a headache, let me tell you. It really is a headache. I don't even know why they even have built that. The taxpayers' money should be for having advocates in schools where you can teach the proper etiquette, manners, discipline, education for the little kids, for the teenagers. I mean, we have a lot more problems than just having the freeway that is useless, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the boss. I don't make those decisions, but I'm very happy that I live in the United States and my voice and everybody else's voice at least is heard, and I hope that it's being put in good use. And I thank you for taking my call and listening.
I'm so glad that you brought your voice right here to 790 KABC. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Karen in Menifee. Karen, hello.
Hello. Hi, Randy. How are you?
Doing great.
Oh, good. Well, I say if it's the HOV lane, I say get rid of them because I drive about 35 miles to work, and it takes me an hour and a half. And up near San Bernardino, because most of it's pretty much bumper to bumper until I get to a certain place, and then that's when I get into the HOV lane. So I guess I'm bad, but I drive about maybe my last 8 miles or so in that lane. And I just take my chances because after bumper to bumper, it's like, it kind of breaks free there. But
I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people do that. Yeah. Thanks so much for the call, Karen. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. The electric car stickers for the carpool lane go away starting tomorrow. Florida has just gotten rid of carpool lanes altogether. Do you think we keep the carpool lanes in California, or should we follow Florida and get rid of them? 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Pat in Orange. Pat, hello.
Hey, Randy, how are you?
Doing great.
So, HOV lanes, why they're changing them to pay lanes. There is states or cities and counties get money for how traffic flows in the HOV lanes. And if the traffic doesn't flow, they stand to lose money. So, like LA, they converted the 110 to pay, because if you pay, that pushes people out of that lane and allows that lane to flow faster. So you're going to see a lot more of those HOV lanes change to pay lanes.
That makes a whole lot of sense. There's always some weird kind of federal funding behind some of these nonsensical decisions. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. It's like, if you ever wondered why they started the high-speed rail in Fresno, it's because the Obama administration said too many people in Fresno have asthma. Hey, look at this. 790 KABC welcomes Some Like It Hot at the Segerstrom Hall in Orange County on October 7th through October 19th. Tickets are on sale now at scfta.org, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-795-2222 gets a pair of tickets to the October 8th show. Tickets furnished by the Segerstrom Center for the Arts in beautiful Costa Mesa. Some Like It Hot. Get it now. Good luck dialing. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Marion writes in at randykabc@gmail.com. The only carpools I'm in favor of are the ones like on the 101 up on the coast of Santa Barbara that are carpool lanes only during rush hours, and they're well posted. Although the print should be bigger because at freeway speeds, it's hard to read the hours. You know, it's funny. There's actually a huge backlash right now about the 101 on a stretch between Marin County and Sonoma County because they just extended those carpool hours and it's screwing up everybody's traffic. Let's go to Dale in Long Beach. Dale, hello.
Hello, Randy. I wonder if this is going to have an impact on the total freeway system, because according to my computer, the DMV says there's 400,000 active decals. So those, they won't be allowed in the high occupational vehicle lane anymore, so they'll be in the regular lanes.
Now, here's what I'd love to know. Do you think we could figure out any kind of number to count the amount of people that use those carpool lanes when they're not supposed to? Because I think that's way higher than 400,000.
Well, as long as I get to use it on my big chrome motorcycle, I'm happy still.
Well, there you go, Dale. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. I don't think the carpool lanes are going anywhere, but it'll be interesting to see if traffic improves in Florida because there's less people bobbing and weaving out of those lanes where you can only get out of them at the last second. And then you've got to go over course 4 lanes to get to the exit. The way our freeways are designed is archaic and insane. And driving the 405 every day takes a little bit of my life away every single day. Don't worry. My dream in life is to find a way to continue doing this job and not have to drive that commute. And I'm working toward it every day. I do have to mention, while I still have you, getting in and out of the carpool lane, stealing the carpool lane isn't the only a-hole behavior that's out there. There's a certain kind of person that needs to stop being selfish. And you know who that is? If you've ever been on the 405 freeway, getting off at the Burbank exit in Sherman Oaks, you go up that off-ramp, you sit there at the light, the left lane is left turn only. The right lane is right turn only, but that middle lane can go left or right. And I sat there for 15 minutes today. Why? Because the people on Burbank Boulevard going towards Sepulveda think they're going to make the light, or they know they're not going to make the light, and they don't care, and they block the intersection, and then all the people trying to get off the freeway literally can't move. It happened 5 times in a row. And that is so rude, that is so selfish, and I really don't care for a lot of the drivers in this state. How dare you? Had to get that off my chest because it was insane. Thank you all so much for listening, for calling in, for emailing, telling your friends about this show. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.